And the weather was a lot uglier closer to the coastline. Kent Porter with the Santa Rosa Press Democrat went to check out some very choppy water at Bodega Bay and showed us just how windy it got there.
Oh, it's really windy.
You can't even hear him. And check this out. The rain was coming down hard up north near Sea Ranch that it looked like the downpours were, well, moving uphill, because they kind of are. Hurricane hunters now studying the impacts of atmospheric rivers here on the West Coast. Scientists spent 7 hours in this specially designed plane. They dropped 30 of these little parachute instruments into the storm to collect precise data.
And that's giving us constant temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, wind direction, all the way down. It takes about 15 minutes for it to travel that distance. And that's really helpful for forecasters down on the ground to be able to forecast exactly where this is going to go.
The term atmospheric river was only formally defined by scientists back in 2017. And two California field researchers are using another method to investigate atmospheric rivers. Our Itai Hod spent a day with these storm chasers sending up balloons to ride the rapids of atmospheric rivers.
It may sound a little simplistic, maybe even inflated.
Both ends.
But Jerry Wilcox and Ross Bodette are taking meteorology
3, 2, 1.
to new heights. For days, they've been coming to this little hilltop near Bodega Bay
2, 1.
to release huge silicone balloons from the same spot every 3 hours. Field researchers from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, Jerry and Ross, are storm chasers who investigate a weather phenomenon called atmospheric rivers.
The weather balloons, when we send them up, we're able to gather a lot of information about what's really going on in the atmosphere during these atmospheric rivers.
Known simply as ARs, they're essentially rivers in the sky that can stretch more than 1,000 miles and can cause intense flooding. Last year, they ended California's drought, but also created billions of dollars in damages. These balloons are attached to a device called a radiosonde, which measures temperature, pressure, relative humidity, and wind speed.
We're essentially dissecting the storm from the surface all the way up to the upper troposphere.
Chad Hecht is a meteorologist with the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. He says these atmospheric rivers are expected to get even stronger as climate change intensifies.
When you live in a place like California where it's sunny most of the time, water kind of turns into this, it's the new gold, right? Where we have to operate the reservoirs as best as possible, and the prediction of the weather is at the forefront of that.
1, 2, 3, 7.
For Jerry and Ross, it's about getting the most accurate data possible.
We have a multitude of different instruments, but the radiosondes, the balloons, are the only ones that do it in real time.
Using the simplicity of a balloon
3, 2, 1.
to make weather forecasting a breeze.
And there it goes.
Well, as Missy Elliott says, I can't stand the rain. But that's not the case for everyone here in Stern Grove. Many runners are continuing to enjoy their routine, rain or shine. Take a look. As the Bay Area braces for stormy weather, parks in San Francisco have closed due to wet conditions. That includes Stern Grove, Pine Lake, Glen Eagles Golf Course, and the gardens of Golden Gate Park. But that has not stopped runners from getting their exercise in, nor has it stopped families with furry friends from getting their fresh air. That includes Amy, Nate, and Ranger.
And Ranger is a water dog, so he likes to get out in the rain. Up, up.
While the wet and windy conditions are not ideal, Amy and Nate have their routine with Ranger.
Oh, very committed, especially if you have a dog. You have to get out.
But besides getting wet, rainy and windy weather increases the risk of trees falling. On January 15th, a eucalyptus tree in Golden Gate Park fell onto a busy street. Miraculously, nobody was hurt, but it's a reminder to be extra cautious, especially with gustier winds.
Yesterday we went around, and we did this morning as well, to make sure all the storm drains are cleared.
Golden Gate Park gardener Andy Stone says the eventual occurrence is inevitable.
I look at my own feet and I'm amazed I can stand up on those little things. And the trees are kind of the same way. And every tree that goes up, sooner or later it's going to come down.
As for folks like Amy and Nate, they are carrying on with business as usual and are focused on a few more things like the Niners.
We're going to watch it rain or shine, and we'll be out with the dog rain or shine.
San Francisco Rec and Park continues to encourage locals to be cautious as they venture outdoors.
Overnight here in Sonoma County, crews trudged through this flooded road to rescue a driver from a vehicle stuck in deep water. 3 inches of heavy rain fell, just one of many areas socked in Northern California. In Sacramento, police blame slick roads and high-speed driving for sending this truck off the highway. No one was injured. The strongest storm of the winter season in the San Francisco Bay Area so far also brought wind gusts close to 60 miles per hour. In its wake, downing trees and knocking out power to thousands. Fire crews in Silicon Valley cut through this tree to rescue a trapped child. She was transported to a hospital and is expected to be okay. This same atmospheric river event is now slamming Southern California too. In San Clemente, concerns are growing over a worsening landslide. Crews worked quickly to tarp this hillside. In San Diego, residents hope these sandbags protect their homes and businesses as the storm grows stronger. Today, the city is under a voluntary evacuation order for low-lying areas.
It is designed to encourage residents in these flood-prone communities to prepare if and when evacuation does become necessary.
Not only will this storm continue to bring flooding rain and gusty wind, we're also looking at a second storm system moving in this weekend. That storm is expected to be even worse.
These are your neighborhoods. This is your world. CBS News Bay Area.
Still ahead on KPI
with Juliette Goodrich. And the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Taking you to the day's top stories. Smart, comprehensive coverage. And immersive weather like you have never seen it. Join Juliette Goodrich and Nora O'Donnell. Weeknight 6 to 7:30 on KPIX.